What's going on? So you might have caught, I graduated high school like 2 months ago now, and it's been an odd transition. Not even necessarily because I'm not going to college this fall, because there were some issues. I was going to study abroad, and then there's some visa issues, so that's really cute. But it's just a strange adjustment, because I've known, my parents have done a really good job of like adjusting me to like having more freedoms, but it's really weird to like actually be an adult and have those freedoms and like not be bound to be anywhere. I think that's the weirdest part, is I currently, because I've been kind of hopping around odd jobs this summer, I've been kind of everywhere, and I'm not bound anywhere. There's nowhere I'm legally required to be. Like, I don't have to stay anywhere, and that's kind of really freeing, but also really scary. It's been rough. I thought I was gonna be one of those people who like didn't have the whole like crisis, and now I'm experiencing the crisis. But it's okay, because I have books, and I have things to keep me occupied, and I have passions, and I think that as long as I stick to those passions, I'll be okay. Because the whole journey is to just kind of not lose yourself as you figure out what you want to do. I think that's mostly what it's about. With all of this going on, just to preface this list of books I've been reading, have just kind of wanted some light distractions, because there was a lot of not light things going on in my head. So why would I want to read super intense like that? Sometimes those like really intense, meaningful books will only make it worse for me. So a lot of these books that I've been reading are kind of fun, but now I'm at the point where it's like I'm consuming too much fun content. And especially now that I'm not required to be learning anything with school, my brain feels icky about the fact I don't feel like I'm learning anything, because I'm someone who likes to be constantly learning. That's how I was raised. That's what my dad's like. That's what the rest of my family's like. So the fact that I'm not learning anything feels icky. So I'm probably gonna cut all of the YA novels I've been reading and pick up something more thoughtful, just because I don't feel good mentally. It's like mental junk food. I don't feel like I'm thinking enough. But if you're looking for some fun novels, some of these might be up your alley. Let's discuss them. Look at this beautiful book stack. Wow. Now, I don't know where the actual book, the physical book for this one went. You can look at the dust cover. I don't remember where I put the actual book. This was my beach read at the start of the summer. It's the St. Ambrose School for Girls by Jessica Ward. And it was something that I read, and I thought, wow, I would have ate this up when I was 13. That's basically what this book was, which was kind of fitting for when I picked it up at the beginning of the summer, because in my head I was like, this is connecting to that inner child. All right, that's what this was for me. It's just, the main character is like incredibly edgy, and the plot is incredibly predictable, and it's very meh. And I mean, I picked up on the whole like twist immediately. As soon as the murderer, because this is a murder mystery, as soon as it's kind of murder mystery at the end, honestly. It's more of like a thriller type thing, murder at the end, whatever. I knew exactly who was guilty from the beginning. And I mean, there's a gay person in here. If you like gay people, there is a gay person. But it was just kind of, and the whole time I just felt kind of vaguely unsettled, because it's a very classic story of, like, young women being taken advantage of, and I didn't like that. But it felt very teenagery. Very, like, classic young teenager. So, for that, it can be appreciated. I'll give it that. I think I rated it, like, I would give it, like, 2.5 stars. Yeah, this is a 2.5 star book for me. Again, there's not really much substance here. It was just kind of whatever. I also, for one of my book reads, I also tried picking up We Were Liars, because I've heard a lot of mixed things on this book. And mind you, I buy all my books secondhand. I did not directly support this author. I picked this up because I was in the bookstore and I saw it, and I was talking to my sibling, and I was like, I heard some really mixed reviews on this. And someone who was nearby was like, oh, I read that and I loved it. And I was like, you know what? Sure. We'll give it a read. I shouldn't have done that. Guys, don't listen to people's book recommendations unless you already know that they like books that you like, because I fucking hated this. It's the way that it's written, like, is like, there's a lot of it tries to sound like it's really thoughtful and retrospective, but the thing is that it's it doesn't feel that way. The characters don't feel fleshed out. There's a lot of things that feel very meaningless, and I ended up not finishing it because it also got really racist, and I didn't like that. And I think it's okay for books to include characters who are racist and to have plots circling around how, you know, characters can be racist and get over that. But the thing is I felt like there was not enough being done, like, from the book to be like, hey, this is bad and this is inexcusable. And especially coming from a white author, that's gross, and I don't like that. So I didn't finish it. And then, this is spoilers, but I looked up the ending online, and that made it even worse, because what the fuck do you mean none of it's real and we're delusional and schizophrenic? That's such a boring cop-out ending. I hate that. So, you know, it's fine. I got it for $5, whatever. Moving on. The other book that I got in that same run, which is fine, I guess, is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Wow. Now, the reason I picked this one up is because I had known it was like a whole Shakespeare retelling, and I like Shakespeare a lot. I really like Shakespeare. But I had also been told, I swear I had been told, like, years ago, like, oh, it's, like, gay, and I was like, oh, I would love a gay Shakespeare retelling. I love queer retellings. And then it wasn't, and then I kept trying to read through it, and, I got bored. I literally got halfway through it. It was fine. I'll probably finish this, and I'll let you know what I think after I finish it. One thing that really stands out, because most of the story thus far has been circling around the whole romance and the characters' dynamics with each other, but the horror writing in this is so visceral, and I was not expecting the horror aspect to be as strong as it is. Like, it's disturbing at times, and I applaud Chloe Gong for that. It's wonderful in that aspect. It's just not what I was expecting when I picked up the book. So I'll probably finish it after I get over the disappointment about the pairing, but, you know, it's fine. I read this book. This is How You Lose the Time War by, I'm not gonna butcher those names. I read this kind of at night when I was in like a sleep deprived haze, and I didn't feel like I was fully there, but I read it anyhow. And when I picked this up, I was the way it was advertised to me was, oh, it's like this sapphic, love story like through time and space, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And then I read it, and it fell very flat, I feel, on world building. You have no idea what's going on, really, world building wise. Like, you have a vague idea. You get that there's a war going on. It's not clear why the war is going on. It's just that this war is and has always been. And I was expecting this when I was told that it was like a fantasy novel and everything, that there was going to be more in that aspect, and then there wasn't. Which is okay, because that's not what this book is trying to do. It's just what I thought it was trying to do when I bought it, and it wasn't. And that's okay. It's more about like this incredibly clever and witty dialogue between these two characters through the format of letters, and like how it is, this kind of like forbiddenness between them like develops into like a romance and everything. And I really liked it for that. It's very well done. I understand the hype around this book very well. It's just not what I thought it was going to be, and that's okay. As we can see, I have a lot of really unrealistic expectations for books. Well, maybe not unrealistic, but like misguided. That's okay. It's alright. Because the thing is like, I don't watch a ton of content about a book before I buy it. I like going in blind. I like kind of like figuring things out on my own. I like, someone's like, oh, I like this book, like it's like this genre, here's the vaguest idea of the plot. I'm like, alright, give it to me. Or I'm like, don't give it to me. If it doesn't pull me in, then I don't want it. But I really did like this for what it was. I wish I was more mentally there when I read it. I'm probably gonna give it a reread, honestly, at a later time. Okay, I recently picked this one up, The Silent Patient by michaelides. I don't actually know how to pronounce his name. I read The Maidens last summer, which is his other book, which came out after this one. They're not in the same series or anything, I just, whatever. And it felt really weird to me, like, because their whole things, they're like thriller mysteries, and I really didn't like it. Some people had said that the plot twist was predictable, but I just thought that it was weird and kind of gross, and it just felt really gross, to be frank. And I'm not against, again, this is another thing, bringing up like the first thriller that I read this summer. Young women being taken advantage of by men is gross, and I don't really like that. I was hoping with The Maidens that it would be more like girl bossy, like people had like advertised it, and it wasn't. I didn't like it. And against maybe my better judgment, I picked up his other book to give him another chance, because this is another one where people are like, hey, this is probably right up your alley. I was like, if you say so. And I am 70 pages into the book, literally just through the introduction. Well, the chapters are split up weird. Yeah, I'm through part 1. I just started part 2, and there's been some allusions to the idea already that the male main character is going to experience some sort of like romantic attraction or some sort of like obsessive attraction towards the silent patient. What's her name? Alicia, I think it is. Yeah, Alicia. And that feels gross. And at least with like St. Ambrose, the novel was written by a woman. This is a man. That's a man. And I don't like that. It feels bad when it's coming from a man, because like men obviously can make commentary on, you know, gender dynamics and like misogynistic exploitation, but it would be the second book of his, if this is true, if this is how this pans out, this would be the second book of his then that like is about like with like the commentary is only circling around like romance and sex with men and women, and how like I don't like that. I don't like the idea of men taking advantage of mentally ill women. It feels I need to just stop picking up thrillers like this. I need to stop. I'm torturing myself. Just started reading Don't Let the Forest In, which is by C.G. Drews, which is a fantasy thriller romance YA novel. I am a sucker for any type of academic setting. I will die for them. Which reminds me of another book I just read, and I forgot the title, but I'll put it right here. That one I read in one sitting in the library. I didn't even check the book out, and it was very YA-y. It was a fun read, and that's about it, and that's all I can say for it. The gays don't die at the end, if that's what you care about. This book, I am having a really hard time reading. I'm 5 chapters in, okay, and it feels like the author used a thesaurus on every single sentence to try and make it sound more poetic and whatever else, and I think it comes across well when they're describing the obsession that the boys have with each other, but outside of that, it's just too much. It's just too much. I don't like it. I'll probably finish it anyway because I bought it, but, you know, it's just doing too much. And then, the other book I have, I didn't put the dust cover back on it, but look at the beautiful cover art. The cover art for the Dust novel is also beautiful. It's called This Fatal Kiss by Jasinska? Jasinska? Let me look at the name. Alicia Jasinska. Yeah. It's another YA novel. But the thing is that I was advertised this in the bookstore as like it's like another queer novel, but there's like fae in it, and I was like, I like that. I like that a lot. I will take that. Because at the end of the day, at least it'll look pretty on my bookshelf if I don't like it. This is gonna be my next read, probably. I still have those other 2 to finish, but it's fine. We'll get around to it. Oh, and there's another book I read, but I also don't know where I put it, because there are books everywhere in my house. They're everywhere. That's just how things are. I think it was called A Dark and Wandering Tide, if I remember the title correctly. I really liked that one. I liked that one a lot. It's another fantasy YA novel, and it's women. And they have the whole, like, rivals to lovers thing going on. And I liked that it made a lot of commentary on like class divide in the fantasy setting, and like, you know, like racism and everything, and how like people who are in like privileged areas that aren't as prosecuted can excuse that easily, even if they are with it. They explored that dynamic really well, I think, of the privileged and the underprivileged pairing in that fantasy setting. And because I know I had read another book that tried to do the same thing, which I think was called A Study in Drowning. But the thing is that they did a really bad job of addressing like the whole like fantasy racism, and it came off really gross because it was never something that was resolved or properly discussed. It was something they were just like, oh, I hate him because he's from the other side, and like, oh well, he's one of the good ones. That's basically how it turned out, and that was gross. That was gross to me. Whereas the Dark and Wandering Tide, I was like, you know what? You guys did this well. So, gays stay winning. But yeah, those are the books I've read so far. My current thoughts on them. Yeah, I'll probably keep reading, keep you guys updated on reading as I can. Things are weird right now. Everything's really strange, but I'm reading more than ever since I've finally escaped my AP Lit class. So, yay. Got a 4. 4 on that exam. That's pretty good. I think I know exactly where I lost points. I hope the rest of you are doing well. I'm coping, for sure. And, hopefully I'll get more content out here because, let me tell you, every day since getting out of high school, even the worst of them have been better than some of the best days in high school. I hated high school. So now that I'm out of that and I actually have energy to do things again and I can continue doing what I love while I figure everything else out, I hope that means that I'm going to be doing more content stuff again. So if you want to hear more about the books I'm reading, stay tuned. I'm also hoping to do more content about fashion design because when I did theater this past year with my school, I got really into costume design and everything. So I want to make more content about that as well. I want to make more content about my writing because I'm still probably going to end up going to school for education, and I want to pursue specifically education in literature because literature is like what I'm good at. It's like my thing. So if any of that interests you, stay tuned, and I'll probably be coming at you next with some more thought-provoking books. I'm thinking about picking up like Kafka again because I need something that is more than YA mush, respectfully. Alright, see you later then.